Well, hello, and welcome back to the Brothers-in-law. Those of you who are new to the show tonight, Mike and I are two former law enforcement officers. I am a former Virginia State Trooper, with 7 years of service, and Mike is retired police officer, 26 years of service out in, sunny California, Pleasanton, California, and together we're the Brothers-in-law. Real quick, Mike and I started this channel last year. Man, we just got tired of everything that we were seeing happening in the news about young black men in particular being shot by the police. But what we want to do is just give our take on what two reasonable officers would do in that situation to kind of shed light on the mindset of the officers and why they may have done the things that they had done to um, ultimately take a life of another citizen. You may like what we had to say. You may dislike what we had to say. But at the end of the day, we still love you. So, welcome to the show. We thank you for joining us. And again, if you're new to our channel, please go ahead and you like the content of this video, and you see the value in this. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe, and be a blessing to somebody else. Welcome, Mike. Welcome, Zach, Tone, Stacy. Welcome, everybody. Goat. We got some jumping on over there on Facebook. Welcome, everybody. What's going on, Mike?
Oh, nothing much. We doing something a little. We have a little added aspect we're doing for the show today, folks. So it's where you can actually call in and give us your question and comment, and we'll address it on the show right now. You know, so we're gonna be
Yeah,
it's a
actually,
rough draft. So we're gonna see what it look like, how it works. You know, so bear with us if we start having some technical difficulties.
yeah. So basically, if you look at the screen there, if you want to call in live to us, we have a video actually we're gonna break down tonight that took place back on June 19th in New Haven, Connecticut, I believe. Mr. Randy Cox. He was in police custody and was en route to lock up when the officer driving the vehicle tried to avoid an accident, I guess, and slammed on his brakes, causing Mr. Cox to slam into the back of to the forward part of the transport vehicle, and now it is paralyzed. But we'll break that down. But we'll get through this just like we always do. We'll show the video. Mike and I will make our comments. And if you'd like to call in on the air and ask us any question about this video in particular or any other videos you might have seen Mike and I do in the past, feel free to give us a call at 757-504-2589. And make sure if you're on your laptop, iPad, or your desktop computer, just turn down your volume on there so you don't get the feedback on it. So this is new, like Mike said. My wife and I, we test pilot this the other day to see if it worked, and it worked well. So we're going to do it live for the first time tonight. So wish us luck on it. And if it goes way south, charge it to our head and not our hearts.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. All right. So without further ado, like I said, this happened back on June 19th in New Haven, Connecticut. It's a tragedy. Again, Mike and I will give you our honest opinions of what two officers would have done in a situation like this. Again, you may agree with us, you may disagree with us. That's all right. All right, we're here to have a conversation. We're here to how to see how not to allow these things to happen again, and get this message out to the public, and to protest in a proper manner. You always hear us talk about the acronym. Those of you who have watched our videos in the past, the acronym that we came up with called CALM, which stands for Comply, Answer Questions, Listen, and Move On. All right. This gentleman started out perfectly fine. I believe the call for service was some type of disturbance at a block party, and I guess it was mentioned that he had a weapon. Police approaching. He was detained, no problem. I had no problem what they did up to the point where they put him in the back of the transport vehicle. What say you, Mike?
Yeah, it pretty much sounds like it was that in a nutshell. He had a firearm. I think it was a firearm on him, and he happened to be a felon in possession of a firearm. So everything up to that point when they arrested him and placed him in the transport vehicle, I don't have a problem with it. It doesn't sound like there's anything crazy or unreasonable. And we're telling you this, folks, because this is the part where we're gonna jump to what happened, but at least we can cut to the chase up to that point. We think everything was all right.
Right. All right, let me go ahead and set this up. Hey, Go, welcome to the show, brother. Let me go ahead and set this up and share my screen.
All right. Hey, Tone, I got your comment about that detention for the rapper Lil Boosie. I saw that on YouTube. I didn't get a chance to watch the video. Maybe I'll make a little comment about it, and maybe we'll do on the next show. We'll actually look at the video in depth and see about it. But I did get your message about that.
All right. And keep in mind, folks, this video is disturbing. So just be cautious of that. All right, now further ado, here we go, Mike.
All right.
Looking for a black male, skinny, in his late 20s. He's wearing a white, red, and a black t-shirt.
Oh, I think it's Boo.
Buddy, hey, can I talk to you? Can I talk to you for a second? Whatever, good. What's up? Just hold up, okay? What's up? Anything on you? What? I'm gonna talk to the girl. Cover my mouth. We're doing this detaining right a second, okay? Done. Sorry, 75. All right.
Stick right in there.
Got it?
Watch your head. Watch your head, all right?
It is doing a lot of freeze framing on my end, Corey. I don't know if that's if you see the same thing, but yeah. Now it's
Yeah. I'm good, Joe.
You felt? All right, hold on. What happened?
You good, Mike?
Yeah, I'm good.
You fell. What happened? Can you move at all?
I can't move.
Well, how's your leg is all the way up there?
Understand?
All right, I can't move you, so I have to hold on. I'm gonna have to go get an ambulance.
You started signal one. The subject in the van, he said, fell inside the van, and he can't move. So I'm on my way to detention right now. So please, can you start me signal one over there?
Got a little echo, Corey. You might want to turn your mic down, I think.
Stopping the brakes. I don't know. He said he fell inside the van, and he's all, I opened the door and checked. I was talking to him, and he said he can't move. So if he really fell, we're not even moving it until the end of the guest here, because just in case.
Okay.
Move your leg. Sit up.
I'm not listening.
Sit up.
I can't move.
You're not even trying.
What's the hand? Almost in. Now get your shoulders up. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Stand up. Here we go. All right. How are you making up? Ready? I should go with that.
Get the. Listen, he was fine.
You good, Mike?
Yeah, I'm good. It's still freeze framing a little bit, but I'm getting the gist of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fucking broke my nose right here. I can't read.
No stress. Sorry about it. See the arm? Just go to the arm.
And then they shackle his feet.
Yeah, I don't know if that's protocol there or what. I don't understand the shackling of the feet of somebody that's not combative. I don't get that, but okay, there might be, maybe that's procedure where that is. I don't know.
All right. And there you have it, folks. Now,
Plus,
the question.
Go ahead, Corey.
Now, I was gonna say the question is was everything done within reason? Is this what reasonable officers would do? In my honest opinion, hell to the no.
No.
And
I
I'm
mean,
sorry to have to say it like that.
No, this guy should get paid big time, but worse than that, he is paralyzed. You see what I'm saying? The officer that's driving this vehicle should have put 2 and 2 together when he slammed on the brakes, and he realized, well, that's probably how the guy flew forward. There's no seat belts or nothing to restrain individuals in the back of this bus to keep them from moving around if you do slam on the brakes or something. If you're going to put somebody in the back of a transport vehicle handcuffed with their hands behind their back, you should at least secure them to something in place of where they are sitting so that they don't slide forward and slam their head against the backboard. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I understand that they putting seat belts or whatever, some kind of better restraints in these vehicles now after something like this has happened. But actually, I'm a little surprised that it took so long, because I'm sure this isn't the first incident where they had people move around in the transport vehicle that's not secured to it.
Right. I think that was my first take too, when the officer slammed on the brakes and the guy slid forward to the back part of the transport wagon. I mean, what a reasonable officer would have done in that manner, that would have been me. He did everything right up to the point, hey, well, I can't move you. I'm going to have to call an ambulance. Well, you should have sat right there. You should have stayed right where you were and called the ambulance and allow them to come to where you are.
Evaluate him. Right. How he ended up driving to the station. I mean, what is that?
I much rather prefer you stayed on location where the incident happened. But if you went back, you still called rescue, you still told them to meet you at the intake. Okay, cool. Don't touch him. Still don't touch him. The reason why I said, that's, you made that choice. All right. But you just run the risk of possibly injuring him more, because you're going to hit bumps on the road. He's going to still move in the back there. So you could possibly have caused more injury by continuing on. That's why I would much rather he would have stayed right where he was and got him aid that way. Okay, good. You get back to the Sally Port, is what we call it. And you get in there, you explain to what's going on. I would have just still said, all right, don't touch him. Let fire and rescue get here and let them get him out. I think if you'd have done just that, I think they would all have been all right. But then what they did at the same time, Mike, how often do we take people to lock up and they always come with, oh, well, this bothers me. I can't do my this hurts, that hurts. And you hear it day in and day out for hours, your 8, 10, 11, 12-hour shift. To these officers, they might have just, okay, here we go, another guy want to play the game.
I know exactly where you're going. I know exactly where you're going, what you're saying. And folks, when we say this, we don't mean to lessen the responsibilities of what these officers did or didn't do. But Corey is right. We have there, when you arresting people in that job as a police officer, you come across plenty of prisoners who will act like they can't walk, or say they have chest pains, or say that something is wrong with them. So as an officer, you can make the mistake of not taking them seriously if you see that being done over and over. Yeah, I've had plenty of prisoners or people that I've arrested that will go limp on you just to make it difficult. Nothing's wrong with them. They just chose not to walk, or something like that. But now, as an officer, you can't fall into that mode of, oh, he's just faking. Matter of fact, you need to go completely opposite, and you need to make sure, look, it might be a pain in the ass to get him to the hospital if he's faking, that is, to get him to the hospital, but you got to do what you got to do because of the liability factor. If by chance there really is something wrong with him, you definitely want to be able to say, I did everything I needed to do as an officer to get this person some medical treatment, to get him medically cleared. Remember, you can't put somebody into jail, at least where I came from, until they are medically cleared. If they ain't medically cleared, the jail won't accept you. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's a lot of mistakes, I think, in my eyes, I see these officers doing with him not walking. Number one, the guy slammed on his. We don't know if he was speeding, by the way, Stacy. We don't know if he was speeding. Well, they never mentioned how fast he was going. But what caused
actually they did.
Did they?
Yeah, it was in one article I read.
Okay.
It was a residential area, so I think the speed limit was like 25 and 30. He was like 35, 36 miles per hour. I mean, was he reckless driving? No, but was he driving?
Was it reckless? No, yeah. I mean, and what caused it was the slam on the brakes, which caused him that prisoner to go forward and slam against the wall. You cannot just assume that somebody is lying when they say something like that. He wasn't like high or nothing. He wasn't the prisoner wasn't like upset and trying to, just flop and say, I ain't moving. It wasn't like that. He was genuinely actually saying, look, I can't feel my legs. I can't move. Y'all ain't listening to me. Something happened when I slammed my head into this wall. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then they continue to cuff him on his legs, drag him up onto a wheelchair. They have the mindset of, this person is not telling us the truth, and we just dealing with, like you said, Corey, another prisoner who wants to act silly. You see what I'm saying? That was the mindset these officers had, which was wrong, incorrect.
I tell you another problem I had. What I don't understand, I know in our jails here, when you take them to lock up, there's usually a nurse there. And if somebody's bad enough, we'll also have that nurse evaluate them. Even after we've taken them, because now not every precinct is the same way. I know the areas, the 3 cities I operate in, they all had pretty much the same standards. If they were involved in a fight, any type of altercation, you had with them, you went hands on with them, they were involved in a car crash, or it was a DUI, you had to take them to hospital to get cleared by the physicians, the doctors. Can you hear me?
Yeah, he froze up for a
we
minute
had,
there, but I
then we were able
got
to,
over to what you said.
then we're able to take them on into to lock up once that they were clear from the doctors there, but they did none of that here. Oh, so if you have a question you like to comment on this video, feel free to give us a call. Again, we're testing this phone line out tonight for taking calls live on the air with Corey and Mike. So if you would like to make a comment or have a question for us, the number's up on the screen, 757-504-2589. Just make sure your volume on your computer, your laptop, is turned down so we don't get the extra feedback on there.
Yeah, Zach, you're right.
Yeah,
you're
it
right.
could be too. Zach. Go ahead, Mike.
Zach makes a couple of good comments. He is in our custody, so anybody that's in the police custody, guess what? The police are responsible for them medically as well. So where I came from, where I worked, when we arrested people, we actually transported them to a jail facility that was run by another agency. So if someone were having some kind of medical issue or something before we got to that facility, then it was our responsibility to transport them to the local hospital or call an ambulance for them at the scene where we were at the time we were made aware of this medical issue. And then actually sometimes we might have to sit with them at the hospital until they are medically cleared. And then we book them into jail. But in this case, this was just some gross negligence on these officers' part by not taking this guy seriously. But bottom line, they didn't take him seriously when he said he couldn't move, and which is it's crazy in the sense that this guy that one officer knows he's slamming on the brakes. Okay, so like I said, if you put two and two together, okay. Now, did the prisoner say I slammed my head against the wall? I don't know if he said that. But
he said he hit his head.
He say that? So the officer should realize, well, I did slam my brakes. He probably slammed forward when I hit them brakes. So he did have some kind of impact. You see what I'm saying? And that officer should have put two and two together and realized that. But even if the officer didn't hear that, if the guy says he ain't moving, just to be safe, you got to call medical personnel and have them come and evaluate him. You can't just start dragging him around, pull him up on a chair. You can't start doing all of that. This guy wasn't even combative, so I'm not even sure where the handcuffing of the ankles came into play. Usually jails don't do that unless you fighting or combative or something like that. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Once I get you into jail, I'm taking them handcuffs off of you unless you are displaying some kind of aggressive demeanor where I need.
Well, I mean, I don't know about that. Again, that's set to each precinct. I know I didn't take the cuffs off my prisoners until I put them in the section where I was turning them over to the deputies. Once I turned them over to the deputies, then I took because it was like two sliding doors, and I would take them off, put them inside the sliding doors. It is slide, and then they will open up the other side on the receiving side, and they will come in and do their thing. So they stayed in cuffs all the way up until I put them in there. So that's just how we roll. In this case here, in this case here, once you determined that he wasn't a threat, he is injured. Okay, I probably would have put the cuffs from behind him and then put them in front of him. If you wanted to even go that way, you see what I'm saying? I'd have put the cuffs in front of him. You could have done that, but I have a.
I just got a problem with them snatching him around and moving him when he said he can't move. Because be coupled with I slammed on my brakes.
I'm right there with you. But you gotta realize those people weren't in the van. All those other officers that came out to assist, they weren't in the van, so they don't know really what happened other than what they're being told there. So their mindset, I'm going to say their thing. Okay, here we go. Another dude want to give us a hard time. We just had 4 other cats come in here acting the same way. Now, folks, by no means am I justifying what these officers did. What I'm saying is what possibly could have been their mindset and what does happen on a daily basis. I'm not saying what they did was. I have a total problem with what they did. In fact, I think Mike and I both can agree that they all need to pay the price, at least get fired for this. Again, they're not doctors. They don't know the extent of this guy's injuries. Again, but however, not to give him medical attention, I think that's the big problem.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
Now, who knows? Maybe they called and it took medical some time to get there. I've seen that before too. You could be sitting there for a minute before medical gets there. They might have ambulances tied up for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? And you might be low on the totem pole. You know what I'm saying? I remember when we used to take people to the hospital for medical clearances for booking. Sometimes we'd be sitting there waiting for a while before a doctor even came to examine my prisoner, the guy I'm holding that's in custody. That could happen too. I don't know. But meanwhile, you just sit now. It's what do you think of this, Corey? When the first officer, the driver of the bus, opened that door and saw him laying there, and let's say he was of right mind to say, okay, let me call some ambulance and let me not move you. Would you at least move his face away from where it impacted? I'm not sure about that either. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if I would have moved him at all from that bus. Well, it's easy to say that now, knowing what we know now. But
based on my military training and in law enforcement and being a basic first aid instructor, I would never have moved him. When it comes to somebody telling me your neck hurt, I've rode up on scenes in crashes where somebody's telling me their neck is hurt, and they're okay, you stay right there, don't move. In fact, I would go so much as to, if their head is back, I would just try to hold their head in place so they wouldn't try to move it and cause further injury. Right. I wouldn't have touched him, because now if I do move him and just that sudden move turns that vertebrae that was, a little bit a millimeter out of place, it would still have been all right, could have still walked, but you just moving a little bit more takes that vertebrae out of socket a little more. Now he's permanently paralyzed.
Yeah,
because you moved. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't have touched him.
You could also this is probably, it's been a moment since I've looked at this aspect, but this is probably a traffic collision, which needs to be a traffic report investigated like a traffic collision. You know what I'm saying? It was a driving action that caused this occupant of the vehicle to slam forward into something. It wasn't secure. This might have even been a traffic. They may even do a traffic investigation for something like that. What do you think of that, Corey? You didn't handle enough crashes, you didn't
hit nothing. What am I investigating?
Okay, you didn't hit nothing. I guess I hear what you're saying, but it's
okay, because you can say you driving down the road. And you and Q riding down the road, whatever, and you're having a heated argument, whatever. Boom, you slam on the brakes, and she didn't have a seatbelt on. She hits her head. It's not a crash. I'm not going to do an incident report. That's no different. You climb your ladder at home and you falling off your ladder. You take her right on into the emergency room. There's no crash there. I'm not investigating anything.
Yeah.
Now every state is different. I mean,
I understand that. I think in California, I think you could do a traffic investigation, but again, I have to brush up on that. I ain't prepared to really discuss that. Yeah, I've investigated plenty of traffic collisions too in my career, but but I have to this particular kind of thing I would have to brush up on because I'm not ready for that right now. But anyway, I think we both agree that I think this was some negligence on the part of the officers. And
100%.
why they didn't have some kind of restraint, security devices in a truck like that, in a transport vehicle like that, it really surprises me that they didn't have anything like that.
Right. And, it's not a nationwide thing, but, after the whole Freddie Gray thing, I think Tone had mentioned something about it earlier. It was not a nationwide mandate, from the federal government. Hey, you must now have these types of restraints in the back of your transport vehicles. It wasn't mandatory. Now we at state we didn't have transport vehicles like that. If I needed to transport a certain amount of extra people, whatever, I just called a couple extra units. Or that if I were in a particular city and I know they had a transport unit, I would have them call. I would call out their transport unit and have them transport for me. But we didn't, as state, we didn't have transport units like that. But yeah, they should be equipped. I think it should be a part of every department's policy that they are to make sure the passengers in there are in proper restraints. Even us now, you as state, you rode in the front seat with us. So I made sure you were seatbelt in. That was our policy. You need to make sure that they're seatbelted in, no matter how uncomfortable they may be in that front seat. That seatbelt is coming on. And we had a tie for their feet if they were out of control, kicking everything. We were training on how to restrain their feet so they wouldn't be kicking and everything while they're in the front seat with you. So that was our policy, because you're responsible for that individual's safety from the time you detain them until the time you get them to lockup. They're your responsibility. And I believe, without a shadow of doubt, these individuals failed Mr. Cox by not ensuring that he received the proper medical attention in the proper manner. I think it dragged out too long before, and because since they waited to get him to the precinct lockup, now you got to look at the mindset of rescue. Oh, he's there, so it's really no need to rush.
Yeah.
Even though they said signal 1 or whatever their call was. So now you affected their mindset. And that's another reason why I say they should have stayed where they were, where the incident happened. You stay there. Now, hey, I'm calling in. He's saying he's got neck injuries. He hit the rear part of the wagon. He's saying he can't move. We need you here now. Now that changes rescue's mindset to get to the scene expeditiously versus, all right, hey, just meet me at lockup. Now, what am I going to rush for?
You got a good point, folks. Let us hear your comments. Let's hear what you got to say. Feel free to try to call in, test that system out real quick. And call that number 757-504-2589 if you got any comments or questions. If you got any comments or questions, whether it's on this or anything that we've talked about in the past, that's fine. We ready for you. Appreciate the comments. But yeah, as you see, as Corey and I say, this is definitely something that should have been prevented. This should have been handled way better. And yeah, this guy should get paid when he sues the city and sues the police department. But worse than that, ain't no amount of money gonna help you when you paralyzed. You see what I'm saying? That's the sad part about it. No matter what this guy did, this was something that could have been prevented with just some simple. Yeah, I know it maybe wasn't required at that time, but some kind of simple restraints in the back or something like that. You see what I'm saying? To stop somebody from moving around like that. Listen, what if like you said, Corey, if the transport vehicle gets into a collision? I mean, We do require people have seatbelts on in any other kind of vehicle in a collision so that they don't go flying through the windshield. I'm just surprised that they don't have anything or any requirements before this point that requires some kind of restraints in a transport vehicle with somebody's hands handcuffed behind their back. Now, if his hands weren't handcuffed, you can make the argument, well, he would have had his hands to break his fall. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't. His hands were handcuffed behind him. When you fall forward, your head is going to be the first thing that's going to hit something. And this officer should have known that.
And for him, I kind of find it hard to believe too that he didn't hear that big thump in the back, like, oh shoot, what happened?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then try to play it off. You know what? You did what? I can't hear you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think if I remember correctly, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, audience, I think the guy had a camera, a back camera up front with him, so he could see what's going on back there.
Yeah, he should have saw. Yeah, I'm sure he probably did. I mean, which makes sense for a prisoner transport vehicle. It would make sense. Well, obviously, you got cameras in the back, so I'm sure that the driver can see the same thing. You see what I'm saying?
Right. That's what I'm saying. The camera was a camera, a dash camera up there with him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, how you see him laying there? You know, again, like I said, folks, I'm fine with everything up to the point where he stopped and opened it up and, you know, hey, Addison, don't move. I'm gonna call rescue for you. I was cool all the way up to that point. You know, after that, I like Whiskey Tango Foxtrot over. This is not how we do. This is not what reasonable officers would have done. Based on training and experience. You know, but let us know what you think. If you got a question or comment, feel free to give us a call, 757-504-2589. If you call in, just make sure you got your volume turned down on your computer so we don't get any extra feedback. This is something we're trying to try out, and if it works successfully tonight, you know, we'll continue to do these live on the air calls to get more active engagement from our viewers. So take time, go ahead and smash that like, share, and subscribe button for us. If you're new, welcome. Again, welcome everybody in the chat. I see you all in there. But you know, it's a lot going on. I mean, because I had sent you some other things. You know, there was some other things going on across the country. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I had a conversation with my mom last week about things going on. It's just, you know, why we're trying to figure out why are we having all these problems? Like, it's like everybody's just angry. Everybody's angry. Like, we all just everybody just need to take a day off and just chill, right? Just chill and relax. You know, stress levels that are happening with the police, and then, you know, interacting with people and people just out here killing each other like it's nothing. You know, and you have incidents like this happening here with Mr. Randy Cox. Now he's gonna get paid. You know, there's no way around that. The city gonna pay him a nice package, but I would believe that he would much rather be able to walk again versus having all that money.
Absolutely. You know, to switch it up, folks, we're gonna switch it up a little bit because I did get a question/comment from one of our cohorts asking about police searching your vehicles. And he sent me a video of this. I guess it was an attorney, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know the credibility or anything of that, but what he was asking was, the attorney was trying to say how police go about searching someone's vehicle. And I thought it was real interesting because these are the basic things that Corey and I love explaining to people, what cops can do and what they cannot do. So real quick, the question was basically, how does an officer go about trying to search someone's vehicle? For me personally, and Corey, you can say how you would do it. But for me personally, one of the things that I used to do is, if I stop you and I suspect that you might have something in your vehicle that's illegal, I may have already developed probable cause to search that vehicle without your consent, but I would still ask for your consent to search your vehicle. It is up to, at that point, it is up to you to either say yes or no. Either give me consent to search your vehicle or don't give me consent to search your vehicle. I may still search your vehicle if you don't give me consent, if I have probable cause to search it anyway. Okay. And the reason why I would ask for your consent, knowing that I can search it anyway, with probable cause, is I like to cover both aspects of the law, so that if I ever get to court, if this goes to court and say I find something illegal and this gets to court, I want to be able to say not only did I have probable cause to search without your consent, but he or she also gave me consent to search the vehicle. And I think a lot of people, they think that if you don't want an officer to search your vehicle, feel free to say, I do not give consent for you to search my vehicle, and if the officer has probable cause, they're going to search it anyway, no matter what you say. But the big thing here is, if they decide to search it, don't fight with them, don't argue with them, don't create more of a circumstance than it is. If you know you don't have nothing in that vehicle and they search it anyway and they don't find nothing, okay, the only harm done is you are inconvenienced a little bit by them searching your vehicle. And if you don't like it and you feel that the search was illegally done, you can, number one, file a complaint with the police department, or you can sue them. You can take them to court, file a civil suit against the police for searching your vehicle illegally. You see what I'm saying? That's your recourse. But what's important is, I want to make sure people understand, you don't want to hold court on the street and start arguing with the officer on the street whether or not he or she can search your vehicle, because you might escalate an incident more than it needs to be. Now, if I'm the officer and I know I got probable cause to search your vehicle, I'm gonna search your vehicle whether you give me consent or not. Okay. And I'm going to tell you to sit down. You can, on the record, say I don't give you consent all day, and that's great. I'll have that on my camera. Okay. But as long as that officer can articulate his probable cause and his reason for searching your vehicle without your consent, that officer is doing okay. Okay. Keep in mind, if an officer illegally searches your vehicle, whatever he or she finds in your vehicle that is illegal is going to be thrown out, because they didn't search your car legally. Okay. So no matter what they find in your vehicle, if they searched your car illegally, then they cannot articulate a lawful reason for searching your car in court, not to you, but in court. Okay. Then all that they found gets thrown out. So there's no motivation to try to search your car for some contraband for me if I didn't do it legally, because whatever I find is going to get thrown out. What you say to that, Corey?
No, you're 100%. I mean, I think what he was saying, I mean, no is no. If the officer doesn't have probable cause, they know that, okay, once you tell them no, it's over. Unless I have probable cause, because at that point, if I know I got probable cause, I'm telling you, all right, well, I have probable cause reason that I do, because X, Y, Z. I smell the smell of marijuana at that time when you were able to do that, or I see a lot of contraband in there or something like that, weapons, and I know you're a convicted felon. If I got probable cause, once I figure that out, at that point, I don't I don't need to ask you. I may do it in the beginning just as a courtesy, like you said, to cover my six and make sure all your I's dotted and T's across. But at that point, once I know I have established probable cause, I'm gonna leave it go at that and move forward. I'm not going to stir the pot and piss you off more, because at this point, once you don't, hey, now I need you to step out of the vehicle. Step out of the vehicle. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. And you don't now. It's just more reason for me to get you out of the vehicle. But I think that was a very good question.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important that everybody knows your constitutional rights. What do you are you able to what are your rights on the side of the road dealing with law enforcement when they ask you to step out of the vehicle? In fact, we did a video on that. Right, Mike?
Yeah, I'm
Last
sure
year,
we
I
did.
think
One
it
of
was.
our videos was something about dealing with how to interact with a police officer if you are stopped in a traffic stop.
Right.
Maybe we might need to refresh that again. But that was a great question. And keep in mind, folks, that is an officer's job, is to try to find crime. There have been plenty of stops that I have made as an officer where I don't have probable cause to search your car. Okay.
Right.
But I may ask you, you have anything illegal in the car? Yes or no? No. Yes. Whatever. You mind if I search? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I might be bored. And if you give me consent to search your car, I'll search your car. You see what I'm saying? But keep in mind, what I'm looking for is illegal stuff. I don't care about nothing else. I'm looking for illegal contraband. You would be surprised, folks, at how many people give police consent to search their vehicle knowing they got illegal contraband in the car that's going to get found. You'd be surprised. And yeah, officers, after they search the vehicle and they find that pound of weed or whatever
I apologize. I'm trying to troubleshoot this.
Am I freezing up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you
Corey?
did just a little bit.
Okay. You'd
Yeah, I
be
can hear you.
surprised, folks,
Yeah.
how many times people will give their consent to search a vehicle knowing they got something illegal in the car. And officers do laugh about that afterwards when they search a vehicle and they find that pound of weed or whatever it is that's illegal. And they say, wow, why did he give me consent to search that car? All he could have said was no.
Right. Right. I mean, sometimes they already know. They already know, and they might as well just go ahead and get it over with. And you do have those that would do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then, if you don't want them to search, especially if you didn't do anything. I mean, and it does no harm. Okay, if you choose to let them search your vehicle, hey, I ain't got nothing hide. Go ahead and search it. Okay, I know ain't nothing in there. All right, and put them at ease. Who knows why? Tone, I like to tell them, hey, yeah, I do believe I have probable cause to search your vehicle. You should tell them that you have that probable cause. Instead of now, the point is, at what point do you tell them? Do you tell them before you get them out the car, or you get them out the car and then tell them why you got probable cause? That probably is going to be left up to the officer's discretion.
Yeah, that's a good question, Tone. I just saw that question that Tone had. Do you have to tell the subject if you're going to search your car? For me, Tone, it depends on the demeanor. I will tell this person, the driver, that, well, listen, if I ask for consent and they say, no, you can't search my vehicle, then I'll say, well, at that point, I would be prompted to say, well, I got probable cause to search your vehicle. I'm going to search it anyway. What I'm not going to do, though, Tone, is argue with the person in the car about searching it. Once I realize that I got probable cause to search that vehicle, I'm going to search it regardless of what that person says. So this is why it's important that the driver or the occupants of the vehicle don't get into some big argument on the street over an officer searching that vehicle. Your recourse to that is if you feel that you are being searched illegally, you file a complaint with the PD, or you file a civil suit in court and sue them for it. You see what I'm saying? But every time I do a search, especially if I find some contraband in my report, I got to articulate my probable cause for why I felt I had a legal right to search that car. and it's up to the judges to decide. Yeah, he had probable cause to search that car or not. And if he didn't, anything they found in that car gets thrown out in court because you didn't have legal right to search that car. But again, do not get into some big blow up argument on the street with this officer. If you see that this officer is telling you that, well, I'm going to search your car anyway, they going to search your car, period. You got nothing to fight on that until you go to court. Okay. And we try to tell you that we don't want you to turn a situation like that into an officer feeling that they now have to get physical with you and physically restrain you. Okay. To search your car. I just thought a tone of that Lil Boosie incident because that was something along the same lines of a vehicle search. And keep in mind, folks, while I'm searching your vehicle, yeah, you are detained at that point. You know, you're not free to just walk away from a traffic stop, obviously. Okay. So, you know, let them search. And if you have a problem with it, you can file a complaint or file a suit.
Yep. So let us know what you think about tonight's show. Y'all drop us a comment down below. I'm trying to troubleshoot this phone call. A couple people saying they're trying to call in and it's just ringing. I'm trying to figure out why it's not ringing on the air. But go ahead and drop us a comment and below. Let us know what you think about tonight's show. What do you think about this video that we just broke down? What are your thoughts on it? What are your biggest concerns about what you saw tonight on the video about this young man being mistreated by these officers? Let us know what you think.
And I think on next show, we probably will talk about that Lil Boosie incident, Tone. They show that video because I see that it's kind of a in-depth video about this vehicle search and how these two occupants of the vehicle were handcuffed or during the search. We probably will talk about that. And then there was another one that came up, Corey, that I might shoot you at. I don't know if I already shot it to you or not, but another guy was his name escapes me, but he was also known in the music industry in New York or something like that, where some female on a moped was being arrested by police officers, and he came up and got involved and tried to calm the woman down, but was kind of animated in doing so. And they trying to say, everybody's saying that he's the hero for protecting this woman from police brutality. And maybe we'll wait until more video footage of that comes out, but I'll send it to you if I didn't. We might talk about a little bit about that, but we'll see, folks. We'll see.
Well, if you got something that's really bothering you as far as, you know, police brutality goes, video that's been weighing heavy on your heart, I should say, and you like Mike and I to do a show on us, hit us up, leave it down below, and we'll check it out and we'll get it on the show. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up for tonight. We thank you all for watching. Sorry couldn't get the phone line going, but I'm gonna work on that again, see what's happening again. Like we said, we were just trying to do a test pilot on it tonight, see if it worked. But that's something we're trying to work on and get it going, because the ultimate goal is to have public conversation, an open dialogue about policing and policing our communities, and what we can do to make things better, and how as citizens we are to interact. Believe it or not, there's a role you have to play in interacting with law enforcement, just as, you know, we hold officers accountable for their actions. Well, guess what, citizens? We need to be held accountable for our actions too, right? We have to understand when time is to not get smart, not to run, not to fight the police and all this other foolishness, because we all know time and time again, the end results doesn't end so well, really, for anybody. The police officer loses, whether they lose their life or they lose their job. They lose. The citizen loses, whether they end up paralyzed or they end up dead or end up severely wounded. Nobody wins, right? And what we want to do is try to minimize that through the acronym CALM: comply, answer questions, listen, hey, and let's move on, right? So thank y'all for watching. If you missed last week's show, I'm gonna link that on here tonight, and check that one out. It was a really good one, and let us know what you think about that. What was that young man's name? Jalen Walker. I believe he was
Jalen
just,
Walker.
yeah, I believe he was just laid to rest yesterday, I believe. So we'll see y'all next week. We'll have another video to break down, or we may just do pick a topic to talk about. But whatever the case, please share this out. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and we'll see y'all next week.
Peace out.
Peace.